making headlines this hour. President Moise declares mental health a fundamental right, pledges stronger national commitment. Maldives hopes for lasting Palestinian peace after first phase of Gaza plan brokered by Trump. Chief Justice Ghani praises NDA drug court rehab initiative as key effort to combat addiction and reinstate lives. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Minha Maroof. On the observance of World Mental Health Day, Maldivian President Dr. Mohamed Moise officially declares that mental health is a fundamental human right and a national priority, pledging his administration's commitment to significantly strengthening the sector. In a message on the occasion of World Mental Health Day, President Dr. Moise asserted that the promotion of mental well-being forms the foundation of thriving individuals, families and nations. He committed to ensuring that mental health would be centrally integrated into the national response mechanisms for major challenges, including climate change, health emergencies and future humanitarian disasters. The president noted that this year's World Mental Health Day theme emphasized mental health in humanitarian crisis. Reiterating the Maldives' international stance on global conflicts, President Moise issued a strong appeal to the international community, calling for immediate steps to provide essential mental assistance to the Palestinian people affected by the ongoing crisis. The government underscored that efforts to make mental health services easily accessible are already underway. Key among these initiatives is the National Helpline 1677, which was launched in February last year. This round-the-clock service is designed to provide psychiatric aid, immediate problem-solving assistance, and referrals to appropriate services for people of all ages across the nation. Echoing the presidential sentiment, First Lady Sajida Mohammed emphasized the critical need for psychological support in emergency settings, noting that it is unequivocally a human right, not a choice. In her social media post, the First Lady reminded the public to remember those affected by global disasters and wars, specifying that vulnerable groups, particularly women and children, are often in the greatest need of assistance during such crises. She concluded her message by urging that psychological support, compassion, and definitive treatment be prioritized in all emergency responses. The Maldives government expresses hope for lasting peace for the Palestinian people following the implementation of the first phase of the Gaza peace plan, an agreement reportedly brokered by the United States President Donald Trump. In an official statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed the development, viewing it as a potential end to the years of suffering for Palestinians, and extended gratitude to the nations involved in facilitating the agreement. Despite this caution's optimism, the ministry currently voiced significant apprehension regarding previous agreements, noting the history of Israel breaking past accords. The statement emphasized the critical need for the full and sincere implementation of this new peace agreement. Additionally, Maldives stressed that Israeli leaders indicted by the International Criminal Court (ICC) must be brought to justice. The ministry reaffirmed Maldives' unwavering support for the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, with East Jerusalem as its capital and a return to the pre-1967 borders. Maldives has continuously called for Israel to be held accountable for its actions against the Palestinian people in Gaza, stressing its continuous advocacy for the Palestinian cause in all international forums. The U.S. Embassy in Malé confirms that the United States travel advisory for the Maldives was reissued only as part of a routine periodic review, and that no changes have been made to the threat level or risk indicators. There has been some misinformation suggesting that the advisory was newly issued or updated to reflect an increased risk. However, the embassy clarified that this is not the case, and that the reassurance is a standard procedural update carried out by the U.S. Department of State from time to time to ensure accuracy of information. The Maldives remains listed under Level 2, exercise increased caution, the same level it has held for several years. The embassy noted that such reviews are periodically conducted for all countries and that travelers should always refer to the official U.S. Department of State website for the most accurate and current information. The embassy reaffirmed that there has been no change to the advisory level or assessment of the Maldives as a travel destination. The Maldives continues to remain a popular choice among U.S. travelers. We will be back after Isha prayers.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله لا إله إلا الله. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air application nu tiya beflunna hile balalevene adi aduwa halevene duniye komme taagu huregen komme gadiya PSM ge channel ta balaluma avaha PSM Air app download kurava miharu app store una Google Play Store invest mi app download kollevene.
Welcome back to PSM News in English. Chief Justice Abdul Ghani Mohammed commends a joint drug rehabilitation initiative led by the National Drug Agency (NDA) and the Drug Court, describing it as a critical intervention designed to extract individuals from the grip of addiction and restore them to society. The Chief Justice delivered his remarks during a formal ceremony marking the conclusion of the collaborative program, where he underscored the importance of structured legal and therapeutic support in addressing substance dependency. He acknowledged the strength and determination of the 52 participants who successfully completed the treatment process. In his address, he urged the graduates to remain vigilant in their journey ahead. He said, quote, "I urge you, these strong individuals, to remain steadfast on the path you are now pursuing. With the grace and assistance of Almighty Allah, you have successfully concluded the treatment phase." Unquote. He added that the road to full reintegration would demand continued perseverance. The Chief Justice also spoke to the role of spiritual resilience in sustaining recovery, noting that strengthening one's faith and belief is essential to overcome adversity and achieving success. Turning to broader social concerns, he addressed the value of altruism and the economic pressures confronting many. In support of long-term reintegration, the government is developing targeted policies to assist individuals recovering from addiction. A central component of this strategy involves collaboration with private sector entities and government-linked companies to secure employment opportunities for program graduates. To reinforce these efforts, the NDA has instituted monitoring mechanisms that extend beyond the treatment phase. These measures apply not only to individuals currently undergoing rehabilitation, but also to those who have completed the program and re-entered society. The Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology issues a stark warning and a final deadline of 15th November for over 27,773 foreigners residing in the nation to provide their biometric information. The ministry warned non-compliance without valid reason will result in immediate deportation and legal repercussions. The ministry announced that while over 178,000 foreigners have already completed their biometric resignation, a significant number remains outstanding. Specifically, 27,773 foreign individuals under the sponsorship of 3,942 employers out of 68,000 registered on the expat portal have yet to fulfill this requirement. The ministry reiterated that biometric data collection remains available on the JOC Center within the National Center for Information Technology (NCIT) building. It warned failure to complete biometrics via the expat online system by the deadline without reasonable cause will lead to immediate deportation and prosecution under the Immigration Act. The ministry warned employers of these non-compliant individuals also face severe penalties, including a fine of $3,242.5 under the Employment Act and other actions against their resignation on the expat online system. In a related development concerning foreign workers, the ministry also revealed that more than 8,000 individuals have been suspended from the expat system due to outstanding fees. The ministry has successfully recovered $77.8 million from the $110.2 million owed to the state in these fees. This intensified push for biometric data is part of a broader government initiative to bring a permanent solution to the persistent problem of undocumented immigrants in the Maldives, with an ambitious target set for April 2027. The Minister of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, Dr. Ali Haider Ahmed, calls on the Maldives' newly licensed national assessors to uphold integrity and professionalism in their work. His remarks underscored the critical role assessors play in safeguarding the quality and credibility of higher education across the country. The event was convened to distribute the newly introduced National Assessors Cards, official credentials used to individuals formally licensed by the state. Developed by the Maldives National Skills Development Authority (MNSDA), the card affirms the assessor's status within the National Registry and provides a means for assessed parties to verify credentials. Defined under the Maldives Higher Education and Training Act, national assessors are responsible for determining whether students have attained the education and skills standards outlined in the National Competency Standard. Their evaluations form a cornerstone of technical and vocational education and training (TVET) programs delivered across the country. The MNSDA, which maintains the registry of licensed assessors, confirmed that 20 new assessors were trained and granted licenses this year. The authority noted that the card's design supports transparency by allowing assessed individuals to access information about their assessor. At present, 234 licensed assessors are active across various disciplines in the country. The formal issuance of the card represents a step towards greater accountability and standardization in student assessment. Minister Haider reiterated that strengthening the caliber of assessors is essential to improving the overall quality of higher education. In addition to ethical conduct, he underlined the importance of continuous professional development, stating that assessors must participate in refresher courses to remain current with industry developments and evolving standards. The Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, reports an exceptionally strong performance in September, with collections crossing $195.2 million. This robust figure represents a substantial 30.7% increase compared to the same period last year and an impressive 33.7% surge above the revenue forecast for the month. MIRA attributed the significant year-on-year growth primarily to increased revenue streams from non-tourist goods and services tax (GST) and substantial resort lease extension fees. Contributions from increased resort rentals as well as airport taxes and fees further bolstered the strong September intake. The broader economic context also played a role, with tourist arrivals to the Maldives in August showing a healthy 9% increase compared to the previous year, underscoring sustained vitality in the nation's key tourism sector. The exceptional overshoot of September revenue forecast was driven by a combination of factors, including stronger than anticipated collections from non-tourism GST, resort rentals, tourism GST, and airport taxes and fees. A major unforeseen contributor was the payment of resort lease extension fees, which, being a one-time payment, was not included in initial revenue estimates and significantly boosted the month's total. Additionally, 14.9% of the September revenue originated from taxpayers settling dues for previous periods, and 6.4% came from the successful recovery of outstanding arrears. Policy adjustments also played a role in the increased collections. The hike in the green tax rate, effective from 1st January, and higher airport tax and fee rates implemented in December 2024 contributed to the improved revenue figures for last month. An analysis of the collected revenue shows GST accounted for the largest share, representing 40.5% or $79.1 million of the total. Resort lease extension fees were the next largest contributor, bringing in $32.9 million. Other significant revenue streams included $26.2 million from resort rent tax, $13.2 million from airport development fees, $12.9 million from departure tax, and $12.7 million from green tax. The total revenue collected in September included $150.25 million in foreign currency. The Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Maldives BML, Mohammad Sharif, warns that the durability of housing finance programs is contingent on disciplined loan repayment, cautioning against the perception that government-backed financing is equivalent to a grant. At a ceremony to issue documents to recipients under the Hiyawahi financing scheme, Sharif said the success of the country's housing projects rests on the consistent and timely fulfillment of repayment obligations. He stressed that the Hiyawahi financing scheme is explicitly not a grant and underscored that recipients must adhere strictly to repayment schedules. Repayment discipline, he said, is the decisive factor in determining whether the scheme and others like it can endure. Sharif noted that lax financial discipline could undermine the entire program. He said failure to meet obligations would not only create difficulties for the scheme itself, but also jeopardize the possibility of launching similar initiatives under favorable terms, such as low interest rates and ease conditions. He went on to frame repayment as more than a contractual duty. The Hiyawahi financing scheme was launched under a pledge by President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu to expand access to affordable housing for citizens. BML is currently approving projects under the scheme, which offers the lowest financing rate in the market at 5% per annum. The government-subsidized program provides an extended repayment tenure of 25 years, an 18-month grace period, and a 20% equity requirement which may be contributed by the customer or the government. The property under construction serves as the sole collateral. The bank is presently reviewing more than 1,400 applications and has pledged to complete processing in a timely manner. The United States imposes sanctions on Serbia's Russian-owned oil company NIS, prompting neighboring Croatia to cut crude supplies and raising concerns that the country's sole refinery may halt operations within weeks. Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić said in a televised speech, without deliveries, the NIS refinery, which supplies most of Serbia's oil products, including gasoline and jet fuel, will struggle to operate beyond November 1st. He added that storages are full and existing stocks of oil products should keep the country supplied until year-end. The US in January announced sanctions on NIS, Serbia's biggest oil importer and one of Russia's last remaining energy assets in Europe. A series of waivers delayed the measures until Thursday, when NIS said that no further postponement was forthcoming. While the Serbian government has a 29.9% stake in NIS, Gazprom Neft SIBN holds 44.9% and an investment unit of Gazprom GAZP has about an 11.3% stake. That combined Russian majority stake triggered the sanctions, which were already affecting ordinary Serbs at the pumps. NIS told loyalty customers they could not buy petrol from its around 350 gas stations with American Express, MasterCard or Visa, and Reuters reporters saw one man turned away by cashiers. NIS supplies around 80% of Serbia's diesel and gasoline demand and 90% or more of jet fuel and heavy fuel oil, a trader told media outlets. The Balkan country is also almost entirely dependent on gas imports from Russia. The leader of Yemen's Houthis, Abdul Malik al-Houthi, says the group will monitor Israel's compliance with the Gaza ceasefire agreement and will resume support for Gaza if Israel fails to comply. The Houthi leader urged continued vigilance and mobilization in solidarity with the Palestinians, saying the group would decide its next steps based on whether the ceasefire delivered tangible results. Israel and the Palestinian freedom fighters Hamas signed an agreement to cease fire and free Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners in the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's initiative to end the two-year war in Gaza that has upended the Middle East. The accord, if fully implemented, would bring the two sides closer than any previous effort to halt a war that has deepened Israel's international isolation and evolved into a regional conflict, drawing Iran, Yemen, and Lebanon. The FIA Extreme H World Cup kicks off in the Saudi desert outside Qiddiya city with Team KMS drivers Johan Kristoffersen and Michaela Altin Kotulinski earning the event's first medals. The Swedish duo topped a tight time trial just 0.591 seconds ahead of Jamil Motorsports' Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor in second, with Andreas Bakurud and Katie Munnings of Team Hansen coming third. The off-road event is the world's first FIA-sanctioned hydrogen-powered race event and features 16 drivers from 8 teams. Extreme H is an evolution of the Extreme E series, which promoted sustainability and electric vehicles by racing SUVs in harsh areas already suffering environmental damage. The new format, with Pioneer 25 cars and hydrogen produced by splitting water through electrolysis using renewable energy, began with rally-style racing against the clock and will also feature driver head-to-heads and an 8-car final on Saturday, 11th October. Extreme H founder Alejandro Agag told last month that there would be a Hydrogen World Cup every year, eventually expanding to 2 or 3 events in the region. A branch store manager at the UK's leading bookseller Waterstones says an uptake in sales is expected for the books of the 2025 Nobel Literature Prize-winning author Laszlo Krasznahorkai. Hungarian writer Laszlo Krasznahorkai won the 2025 Nobel Prize in Literature for his compelling and visionary overt that, in the midst of apocalyptic terror, reaffirms the power of art.
We're really excited. He was obviously part of the kind of bookies' favourites, but you can never really tell, especially with this prize, who they're going to choose. So it's definitely a surprise, but also a really good one.
The setting of his novels move across Central Europe's remote villages and towns, from Hungary to Germany, before skipping to the Far East, where his travels to China and Japan left deep-seated impressions on Krasznahorkai. The second Hungarian to win the prize, worth $1.2 million, after Imre Kertész in 2002, Krasznahorkai was born in the small town of Gyula in southeast Hungary near the Romanian border. His breakthrough 1985 novel, Satantago, is set in a similarly remote rural area and became a literary sensation in Hungary. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air application nu tiya beflunna hile balalevene adi aduwa halevene duniyege komme taagu huregen komme gadiyaku PSM ge channel ta balaluma avaha PSM Air app download kurawa ಮಿಹಾರು ಎಪ್ ಸ್ಟೋರುನ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ ಮಿ ಎಪ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲವೇನೆ